Check out the fresh Nugs. Wheeze in the juice.
We're going to be talking about the love triangles and sometimes even a love rhombus that happens in Encino Man, reflecting the values of young people in America in the early 90s. Encino Man was called California Man out of the States, and I'm really baffled and mystified as to why they would do that. You would assume marketability, but the area Encino isn't instantly known off the top of every American's head. I didn't know that Encino was a rich neighborhood in LA when I was a little kid, but through pure context clues, I was able to tag along. All of these homes are worth $4 million today. I thought the name Encino Man is pretty clever. It parallels with Cheddar Man being found near Cheddar Gorge in England, or Lanchin Man being found in Lanchin County in China. I do live in America. I don't look at map, but I can connect the dots here. Imagine if we did that with Cheddar Man. We were just like, England Man. Or I guess maybe a closer comparison would be Yorkshire Man. Your days are numbered when his ice melts. Count on it. California Man sounds like the prequel to Florida Man. I question the decision to have two different titles for this movie. We could see that Sean Astin is connected psychologically to Cave Brendan through this parallel experience of a California earthquake. High school was more simple back in the days. You didn't even need a car, you just had to have friends. They were an appropriate substitute for a car. The first love triangle happens between Sean, Robin Sweeney, the pink Power Ranger next door, and Matt Wilson, the jock/bully. Even when I was a little kid, I felt like Sean Astin's character feels a little bit too much for Robin.
Robin wouldn't piss on your gums if your teeth were on fire.
Yes, she would.
I was a child and I was like, come on, bro. There's more Susie Q's around this high school. You're not going to catch a fish with just one line in the water. His position's not great as he's goggling from afar with a bag of Doritos in his hand. Speaking of hands, he's always getting his caught in the cookie jar.
Frozen, dug up here or there. Wouldn't be that uncommon.
It looks like boyfriend Matt doesn't want to be a part of the love triangle. Nonetheless, he is. We have a nice lesson so we know where the Geico caveman came from.
He was extremely brutal, so he just took whatever he wanted, and that included his women.
Inappropriate.
That's barbaric.
How would he know anyways? Because you saw a 1950s cartoon of a caveman bonking someone over the head with a club? Sean Astin does one of many missteps as he tries to impress Robin at school with a caveman in his backyard. He's just a late bloomer. This stuff would really sell in anthropology class in college.
Dave, I just don't think I'm ready to handle a caveman.
Does she think the word caveman is a euphemism for something else? Maybe the friend from the craft would have shown more interest.
Dope, I'd go out with him.
The earthquake shakes George of the Jungle right out of the ground. Scientists have been trying to reanimate for years. Who knew that all it took was some dry California air and a few heaters? Right time of year. It's just a matter of time before Walt Disney's frozen head comes back. Brendan Fraser is probably the dirtiest human I've ever seen. He gets himself a drink, and boom, they've got a third friend. The Ed to their Ed and Eddie. None other than Brendan Fraser. This is the second triangle of love. It's a love triangle of bromance, of compassion for one another. Unless you're Sean Astin. He's very greedy from the beginning. Pauly Shore remains stoic, and Brendan Fraser is just innocent, like a child almost.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And we hope you don't gnaw on our beaks.
That is a hot 90s interior. I'd be a scared caveman too. He kind of has braces. Dirt braces? They bond over humans' first discovery. Pauly and Sean do a makeover montage, traditional style for Brendan. They give him a modern name, Link.
Dad, Linkovich Chomovsky, our exchange student.
The parents are the typical consumer boomers.
I'll take that as a ringing declaration of parental approval.
Just the way it was intended, sweetheart.
Put me out to pasture if my kids are able to gaslight me like that.
How could I forget something like this? It's gonna be staying in our house for...
How could you have forgotten about me in the third grade? I spent the entire night after the play in the parking lot.
And it's the perfect cover story. Enough to bamboozle the school and the parents, but not the little sis.
Mom, come on, you're not buying this.
Is he supposed to be a teenager, or are they just forcing this adult into high school?
Who's that guy with the dork squad?
Oh my god, he is totally rude.
Totally.
When Brendan Fraser meets Robin for the first time, he has a George of the Jungle style entrance.
Who is this?
This is my friend Link.
Robin's friend from the craft calls dibs.
That import is mine. This is just in time for prom.
Yeah?
Is he fine or what?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's sure. Another love triangle.
Gazungas.
So Sean's plan is really starting to work here as they're invited to the ice rink. That's a hot sweater. When they get there, Robin's friend is on top of Brendan like white on rice. She whispers sweet nothings in his ear as he makes beautiful paintings. And I'm wondering if this is the last time that these two talk.
Radmobile. Radmobile.
Or not.
If I had a nickel, right?
But don't forget, we've been naked together.
Could you imagine? I'd throw up if someone did that to me. I always thought that guy was angry at the drawings of Gazungas when I was little. It was the dismissal that made him angry. And when Bully Matt gives old Link the sucker punch, Robin breaks up with him.
Let's get out of here. The stench of losers is doing damage to my sinuses.
Just stop it, Matt.
Hey!
At this point, Matt's gotta realize that he's in a love rhombus. It's interesting that they insinuate the hunter-gatherer is more innocent.
A pacifist caveman? You're mental. They fought for food and survival. They did not fight for popularity.
Sean Astin's character, David Wilson, is the emotional black hole over there on his corner of the triangle. He's the most toxic, very entitled, ready to take advantage. I think really he's getting off easy when he keeps approaching his crush right under the nose of Brad Boy Billy over there.
Yeah, I got a date with your mom.
That's not nice. It's a joke. I'm sorry.
I feel like every time Samwise gets bullied, it's just him discovering a new boundary. It's his fault that Brendan got sucked into the scuffle with Matt. He makes sure that he's the bystander, and then he has the gall to complain that the caveman didn't fight enough for him.
Do something. Stand up for yourself. Hit him back.
Good lord, Samwise, you hit him back. The least Sean could do is look at the bright side like these dudes.
New kid. He took it. Whoa.
Robin's even got somewhat of a pen on the values of Sean.
You just think I'm bad for your act, that's all.
Right, and you think I'm good for yours.
Oh, that certainly reflects how he treats Brendan.
We have got a major find here. This guy is our ticket to fame and popularity.
Either way, it does lead to a pretty good training montage.
Mama said knock you out.
Seemingly, Sean loans all of Brendan his clothes because I guess they might have been too big for Sean. There's strings attached to these threads though. Sean needs something out of it. One of the scenes that stood out to me the most when I was little was the Sacred Gas Station tour where Link learns all 4 food groups.
Dairy group. Fruit group. Sweet tarts. Hi, this is the vegetable group. Meat group.
Wheeze the juice.
No, Weezy the juice!
And I guess they're just forced to leave and not buy anything.
I'll be back.
That was actually a cave threat.
Oh, buddy.
Whose foot was that? Hey look, it's Data.
We took a vote, and the computer club feels your presence will be a valuable asset to our organization.
Brendan took a few wrong turns in driver's ed class, and that was enough to get the crew over to a day bar. I guess all you had to do was drive away from high school and walk into a bar, and bam, your day's spoken for. And this is where Robin was warming up to Sean a little bit. The trio has cast a good light on him, and he makes a crucial mistake of not dancing.
Cool, let's go. Let's go dance.
No, I'm not good at dancing. Let's not dance, please.
Dave, you are too uptight.
I just don't like to dance.
This gives Brendan a real opening to soak up the glory as he does the Mamba with Robin. One of the bar patrons makes it clear, don't look at his wife. So Brendan grabs his wife and has her do the Mamba as well, the charmful chap. And that becomes a hubbub, also known as another love triangle. So after not dancing, Sean Astin does something real obnoxious and uses his one call out of jail to ask Robin to prom. She pulls the switcheroo and says, "Nuh-uh, you've heard of the love triangle. Now get ready for the love rhombus. Why don't you ask Brendan to prom for me?" She wants to bring Linkovich. And what happened to the friend who called dibs? Is Robin just like, screw my friend? It makes Sam so angry that he takes it out and drops off Brendan Fraser like he's a dog. Polly Shore catches them, says, "Oh, nay, nay," and Sean and Polly get into a scuffle.
You're the one who wheezed off his gig the whole time because you thought maybe it'd get you somewhere. And now the guy gets a little crusty and you're just gonna bag him.
They have a Ohano means family moment, presenting the love triangle of the Brohans. They recoup, regroup, and get Brendan ready for some prom-age action. From the beginning, he's trying to use Brendan as his ticket to fame. He gets that fame, and he can't stand in the sun. Even though he's invited as part of the trio to the prom, he does a little pouting.
I can't go.
Not a big fan of the love triangles.
You touch her?
But Robin invited Sean. Sean should have went. He's closer to his crush than he's ever been because of the caveman. All according to plan. It is time to execute Order 69. Link barely speaks English. He only has a few words he can say. He's not going to win Robin over with gazungas or unga bunga. So you can go over there and conversate a little bit. Wear some of those stylish clothes you keep giving to the caveman. In the end, Sean does come out on top. Apparently that turning point happened when Robin peeped her peepers onto the Polaroids of frozen Brendan Fraser. Obviously not a paleoanthropology chick. I guess at the prom, the friend had to find another date. Link gets his revenge on the sniper from Saving Private Ryan. Sheesh! So they all go and participate in the She Likes to Feed the Monkey dance. Samwise has been practicing at the Prancing Pony. Remember, Mom and Dad, you said we could have an after party. And meanwhile, thawing out another hot babe, it's Sonya Blade. The girlfriend, the cave girlfriend, Brendan Fraser's cave girlfriend, she's the Zelda to his Link. She found her way to the bathroom, leaving a list of clues. They actually credit her in this movie as Cave Nug, which is hilarious. I think that's the pet name that Nepo baby Pauly Shore came up for her. So we can add Cave Nug to the list of triangles. And I'm very tempted. Pauly Shore seems a little bit attracted right here.
Oh, yeah, buddy. She is so crazy.
So let's make that into another triangle. Admittedly, it might be a stretch. I just like things to be complete. So in the end, Sean Astin's character gets the girl, the pool party, the friends.
Oh, damn.
Maybe he's grown a little. Brendan fared pretty well after high school. He scored a pretty good gig, found another trio, and succeeded in Encino Man 2.
Summer right here is taking you for a ride. He's a caveman.
You about right, Chester?
What's he talking about, Chad?
My name's not Chaz. I was a geek in high school.
I want your body!
All I wanted to do was point out that this entire movie is made of triangles. Love triangles. Much like one of those bridges. Love bridges. Until next time, TV watchers. Until next time.
I'll be back.
You won't. Not after son-in-law.
That is so beautiful. Is it old?